The Beginning by Shady Zone VA. Your dad was a shit bastard after your mom, quote unquote, left. I mean, your dad was shitty to begin with. Your mom was the only thing keeping your dad from hurting you and your brother. You hated your dad for as long as you can remember. But the thought of him hurting you and your little brother, it was like a volcano bubbling at its edge. If you could hate your dad, he would go as far as homicide. Just a tiny hit on your dad's smug face would satisfy your anger. Well, let's start from the beginning. Your mom and dad were really happy, so happy in fact. They wanted a child. And then you came along. 4 or so years later, your mom was pregnant with your little sister. This is where it all started. About 4 years later, your little sister was found dead at a pizzeria called Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. You knew your sister was clumsy and forgetful. You thought your little sister hated animatronics. But when your sister was found dead at the pizzeria, you knew it was murder. A couple of years had passed. Your mom had a baby boy. Your mom gave you the privilege of naming your brother. You named him Dana in honor of your late sister Diana. You thought it was the only way you could remember your best friend. But it was painful to remember her. You loved your brother so much that you would never leave his side. But because of your age difference, you were almost in high school, so you didn't get to see him as much as you would like to. You were so upset when you found out your mother had died. You and your brother were stuck with a shitty dad that was drunk half of the time. One night, your dad was so drunk that he broke a beer bottle to cut your eye. He said, your eyes remind me of your mother's, so he got rid of one. There's blood everywhere. You told your brother to get his things. The last thing you wanted was your brother to get hurt. Your dad tried convincing your little brother to stay with him, but your brother was too scared of him, so he got in your arms and you both ran. Ran as far as you could. Yes, it was tiring. There was blood dripping from your left eye, but you couldn't stop. You were so afraid that your dad could find you. You didn't want to get your little brother involved. Oh, I forgot to mention, your father was friends with William Afton and Henry Emily. They were sort of colleagues. You thought of them as your uncles. But William seemed off to you. You didn't like him that much, so you favorited Henry, so that's who you ran to. You knew exactly where Henry's cabin was. It was second nature to you, since you visited him all the time. You finally got to the cabin after running for what seemed like miles. You got there crying, your brother holding on to you for what seemed like dear life. A Freddy bear in his right hand. Crying. When Henry saw you, he knew it was your father's doing, but he didn't know it was this bad. He didn't know that he would go this far. Some months had passed. Henry was trying to take custody of you and Dana. Well, that was happening. You got enrolled to a high school, and it was your first day. It was gonna be a total wreck, you thought. You had no friends, no cousins that went to the school. You might as well be a loner, you thought to yourself. But there were 3 of you. You were one of them. You decided to talk to them, and you guys quickly became friends. Their names were Axel and Jessica. One day, you and your friends were walking in the hallway and bumped into someone. That someone happened to be the school bully. In fact, that school bully happened to be Uncle William's son, but you didn't know his name. I'm gonna leave it like that, and you guys are gonna have a cliffhanger. Haha.